Hi Vishal, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm great, thanks for asking. So Vishal, first thing first, as you know, this is a podcast and I would be getting into lots of aspects that you might not have told or spoken to earlier, but I would want all of your secrets to actually come out. So the very first thing that I want to ask you is, you have come into the room and for sure you have an aura of your own and you are a CEO, right? But then definitely you wouldn't have been like this. From the very beginning, right? You're not this, man with a shirt and tucked in, all this trimmed and hygiene. So I just want to understand. Okay, yeah. So I just want to understand, how were you as a kid?
I was the most mischievous kid, I think, in the entire family. I used to be a very, very naughty kid. I used to pull tantrums all the time. I used to piss off my parents all the time. I used to piss off my sister the most, I believe. And I was a very playful kid. I was always outside. I was never really used to be at home. I like playing something or the other, some sport or the other, with my cousin brothers, and just loiter around really. I was never the studious one, you can say. Yeah, my parents probably thought that this guy is going to come up to no good in the future. Yeah, I was just one of those kids, you can say.
Right. And now that you're doing great things, how are their reaction to you?
They're very proud of me, and yeah, I mean, I think it's not that they didn't see this coming, not that I have come to a stage where I've achieved things. It's a progress. It's a journey that I'm on, and they're with me on this journey, and I'm so thankful for that, because without them, really, I'm nothing. Without our parents and family and friends. At the end.
So you were in a joint family.
I would say.
You mentioned cousin brothers.
Yes. So we lived in a joint family. It was not nuclear. It was. Basically, we are a family of 5, and recently there's an addition of my the 6th person, my sister-in-law, and but my dad's brothers also, we lived together. So they were a family of 5 too. So we lived as a joint family up until like the early 2000s, and yeah, now we sort of live on our own. Yeah.
So tell me, how is life, living in a joint family? Because I myself have never been in joint families.
No, it's really a different experience. I think you're so bonded with your with the connections that you build over time, without even knowing, because you're a kid and you don't know anything, and all your entire world is revolved around your parents, your cousins, and your siblings and your friends. Literally, that molds you into the person you are today. So it's been wonderful, like growing up with them has been.
So tell me one of the most mischievous things that you have ever done, and this is going to make the headlines.
There are many mischievous things that I've done. Not that I don't do them anymore. I think I still am a little mischievous in that regard. But you can say one of the mischievous things I've done is, there's this movie of Pawan Kalyan, have you seen, where I think it's called Tammudu, where he trains for like becoming a boxer, right? And one of the training sessions, he tries to like have a lorry or
on his
big truck.
So I have heard that that's a real thing that he has done.
I think so, yeah. I think he has. So I think that motivated me more to even try that. So I actually tried doing this. I'm pretty sure it was not a truck, maybe it was a cycle or something, but like I used to do very like dumb things like this, and this is just one of the many. Like I used to get scolded all the time for doing these kind of things as a kid.
Right. But one of my friends is a very big Pawan Kalyan fan, and he recently won the elections. Are you active? Like, do you watch politics? Do you follow?
More now than before. I never used to have any clue about politics, but as I'm into business now, it was involuntary. It just happened to grow on me, and I watch here and there, but yeah, I'm not really into it too much.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, since we started talking about Pawan Kalyan, and I'm assuming you're a fan. Like, do you like watch movies?
I
How's
do
the
watch
scene?
movies, but I am not a fan of Pawan Kalyan per se. But I'm like a neutral watcher of movies.
Okay.
I don't go crazy over particular
Right.
actress and
Right.
actresses. So
Right,
yeah.
right. What was a recent movie that you watched?
The most recent one was Mad Max, the one that
Okay.
released
Furiosa.
the few weeks
Okay,
ago.
right,
Yeah.
right. How was it?
It was great, honestly. Like it was actually a prequel.
Right.
So
it's
actually,
a picture of all the.
yeah. So I actually find prequels quite interesting because when they shot the first one, they would have to plan even the prequel, how they would be
Right.
shooting later on, right? That too,
Right.
years later. So I find that concept quite interesting. More than sequels, I find prequels quite interesting, and I loved it. Like the way they shot it. I mean, to be able to have such sets and such characters to be played, these actors have to like really live into that shoes.
Right,
Like
right.
you have to be like really empathetic to be able to play
know
such
that character. Yeah.
to play such roles. I find that fascinating, especially a movie like that.
Right. Did you ever wanted to be a movie actor or something? Did you ever had? Because as kids we do have, right?
No, I actually have always had that maybe I could be a good actor because I am actually a very sarcastic person. Like you would not believe, like even today, like I grew up with my classmates. I've studied in the same school throughout my life. So even today, they cannot figure out if I'm telling the truth or not. So
Did you lie? Did you lie to me by any chance? Because
not yet
you have
because we're
been-
on camera, right? So I can't lie.
No, you have been extremely nice to me. So I'm just wondering now.
No, like people, I say the most hilarious things. I keep a very straight face when I do
Right,
that,
right.
and they think it's true. So they wouldn't know until I actually tell them I'm kidding.
Right.
So I think that was one of the reasons why I always felt like I could be a good actor. Of course, the looks come with it, but apart from that, I think.
Oh, you're on it.
But
Right.
apart from that, I think I did think that I have, but I think it goes a lot more beyond that to be an
Right,
actor.
right.
And yeah, I don't
No,
think.
we had a producer as well, Aditi.
Right.
And I'm going to talk to her now. Do you want me to talk to her? I don't know. She's doing some great.
Maybe for a
roles.
small role to begin with and see where
let
things
her-
go.
I'll let her know then for sure.
An alternate career path apart
Right.
from Buildtiful.
Right. So talking about your company, the startup that you have started
Right.
and Builtiful, right? And just how you were amazed talking about Mad Max and all the other movies. I also am very much amazed by the work that you do. I've seen your
Thank you.
portfolio of work, the body of work that you have done. I've been quite a stalker as well because I have to. Right? If not, I would have.
Comes with the job.
Right. So it's a occupational, not hazard, but then I really love this job as well
Right.
because I really get to know people. I really get to know people like you. Of course, I mean, if at all you would be on a road and I would just see you around a mall, maybe we would pass by and wouldn't know each other. But right now, if at all we are passing, then I'd definitely say you are hi, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the best part of being humans because you can communicate
Yeah.
and then you can also get to know each other. And this platform just gives me that, right? To communicate, to talk, and get to know you.
Yeah.
So having said that, I have done certain research. It was great, the work, the body of work. Of course, it's a very niche market, but then more than me saying, I'd like you to, help me understand what exactly your plans are and how exactly it started. What was the story behind Buildtiful?
So I think it goes back to the time where I actually came back from my masters. During my masters, even it was during COVID that I was in the UK doing my masters, and there's really nothing much I could do at the time because of COVID. I could not fly back to home, nor I could work there part-time because of the restrictions there. And I was really clueless because I just got done with my degree and I didn't know how to move forward in my life, what career path to choose. I was not sure whether to explore businesses to start, whether I should continue working with the company and seeing how things go. I was really unsure. And when I did come back to India, I was in the mindset that, okay, market's really bad right now. Entire industries are suffering. Let's get started with something that you're sort of interested in, and that was real estate. And I was actually working as a consultant for a real estate company that's mainly into selling residential plots. And it taught me a lot about how real estate worked, and how this is an entire like a prequel of what you see around us today, which are buildings, right?
Everything is like a domino effect.
Right.
Each thing has
exactly. So I learned the basics of it, and as time went by, it took me about a year to totally understand. I'm still learning, but it taught me a lot about how to what are the skills required to do well in the real estate market. And after that, it was actually my sister's idea that there is a real pain point when it comes to say a house construction, that people are having to depend on local contractors, mastries to build their own house. And it's a very unorganized sector. This has been lagging for over
from the generations.
Decades. Generations altogether. There's nothing changed. There's so much tech development happening in all other industries. Everything's changing in terms of your tech and machinery, but nothing's really changing here. And it sort of was linked to real estate, to what I was actually working into. And my sister had this idea that there are great designs out there. There are great architects and interior designers who are able to produce amazing designs, especially in the last 5 years. And with the landscape changing every year, it gets harder for the contractors to understand the design concepts and execute it on site. So this is an ever-growing problem. It doesn't remain the same. In fact, this problem keeps getting harder to solve, and this gap keeps increasing. And which is why we understood that why not have this great experience to give to the customers who are looking to build their own house, get their interiors done. Even if it's a commercial property, if a client who is looking to get the interiors done, get something built, they shouldn't have to struggle so much. The architects shouldn't have to struggle so much in order to get those designs executed. The architect's, his or her job is not to go to the site every day and constantly badger the site team to get the work executed. Rather, they want to focus on the design. They want to take on more design aesthetic projects, right? And this is where it felt like we could bridge this gap between the clients and the architects and designers. To start Builtiful, which is a turnkey construction company that works as contractors for civil and interior fit-outs. And that's how we started about 4 years or before. During COVID, in fact, during the second lockdown, we started Buildfull. And I had no idea it would actually pick up in the manner that it did in the span of just 4 years. We've understood that this is a huge problem statement, and the product to market fit is service to market fit, I would say, is quite apt, and everyone's being able to relate to what we're providing. And it's we just started, and what separates us mainly, I would say, because there are multiple contractors out there. They're great teams that are able to do execute this in this market, but what we are essentially doing is we're bringing the legacy of our family business, which has always been into construction. It's been into government contracts mainly. We've done a lot of prestigious projects like the Secretariat blocks, the TSPA Police Academy blocks, the Nyaya Vihar, the Judges Banglas. So we're coming with a wealth of construction experience and ourselves, right? And to be able to bring that was something that was an easy transition for us into this private sector. But what we wanted to do different is inculcate that experience with tech. And when I say tech, everything should be streamlined, everything should be organized. There should be SOPs, there should be protocols for every task that you do, and integrate that in your tech and operations.
Right.
And when you do that with an experienced team, and inculcate that with the tech, you are getting a great, efficient service out there for customers. And now when I say tech, now the customers are, the clients are able to see what's going on at site. They're able to see progress on a day-to-day basis with pictures and videos.
Right.
They're able to see how the schedules are being placed on a weekly basis, that on a whole ensure the timeline of the project is completed as desired.
Right.
And to ensure the quality standards that are met at site, especially with the kind of projects we do, which are really on the premium segment or high-end segment, that require a lot of attention to detail, especially in the residential sector. We see a lot of intricate work that needs to be done, and we have quality checklists in place. That every task is automated in terms of your checklist that needs to be ticked off while every task is being performed.
Right.
So that allows us to really stand out in the market today. And you can say at the end of the day today, how you would call us is, you can call us the JLLs and the CBREs of the niche residential and commercial sector in Hyderabad today.
Wow, right. So how do you see the future of your company?
See, the idea is to be able to be the go-to contractor for any client or an architect or any company that's looking to expand also, right? So we want to be the sole go-to contractors. As a company, we do not design as of now, right? There are a lot of design and build companies out there that want to take up execution and design, but we want to be the king of one trade rather than be jack of all trades.
Right.
Especially in today's market, the business sector demands you to be niche and perfect in what you do and focus on that.
Right.
And we want to be focusing on this, on execution, which is the graveyard of all project life cycles, to make sure you get the service done right. And we want to be the pioneers in this sector in the future for all residential, all commercial fit outs and construction.
Right. You mentioned that you have started the company 4 years back, wherein COVID was also there, unfortunately. So I want to understand, how exactly did you navigate?
See, I wouldn't say that COVID had too much of an impact on us, because it was during the lockdown where we had enough time to brainstorm, and people had a lot of time to give us feedback on what's happening, what our business ideas were. We always ran surveys. We sent out surveys of how they would feel with a service like this in the market, and we got huge positive response. So I think we made the most of that time during COVID to ensure we get things right and build an MVP, which is a minimum viable product, to get out in the market. I think that's crucial for any business today, to have an MVP and get out there, get your first few customers. Don't be a perfectionist. Don't try to be perfect in all the getting things placed. Everything has to be ready. Only then the customer will buy our product or service. But I think that's a wrong mindset. Get your first few customers is what I would really focus on.
That was your strategy?
That was a strategy. We started with an MVP out there. Our clients gave us, who was an architect, who he gave us a chance to explore, and we actually worked as PMCs on the very first project.
The project management consultants, right?
Yeah, PMC stands for Project Management Consultancy, where we essentially manage the project in terms of the quality and the timelines and the budgets are being met. And we do this for the client, we do this for the architect as well. It was a very new thing for us. We actually were very new to this entire PMC. It was our first PMC project as well, and really things took off from there. We focused because at the first you just have one or two projects, so our entire attention was on that, and we were able to do an exceptional job. Just in 3 to 4 months, we were able to deliver the entire. It was a fit out. It was the interior fit out. It was a commercial space. It was a high-end commercial office space that we had to deliver. It was right next to Weston. It's a grade A commercial building that we've done the interiors for, and the architect was seriously surprised by the inputs we had and how the project turned out. Because in fact, what I felt was very comforting was when he told me that, see Vishal, I've been in this field for more than 10 years. I've worked with multiple PMCs in my life who had 10 plus years of experience themselves. And never did I get this kind of satisfaction with the client and myself. And that really gave me so much confidence and motivation to push myself even further. And ever since they've just been repeat clients, and to get repeat clients in this field,
the retention
is the hardest. Because you're really, it's a very operation intensive business, and you need to get your things very, very well organized. Everything needs to be efficient. It's very dependent on your manpower, so your training processes need to be perfect. It was brilliant. After that, we just kept on picking more and more projects, and it's been great so far. We've done about 13 plus projects in the last 2 years itself, and we're about to close 3 more projects just in this year, and we're very, very looking forward to growing this and being able to serve these requirements that our clients have.
Wow, perfect. So, since we spoke about that, I want to understand what has been the most ambitious project that I've ever done so far.
It's actually a project that we're doing right now. I would say. So we're in midst of it. It's a house that we're constructing for a NRI client who's not based in Hyderabad. He actually lives in Dubai, and it's a very unique, very well designed house. It's one of the most prestigious projects you can come across. If you were to drive by on this road, and you're gonna have to look twice to that house to even see what's going on there, because it's a very, very meticulously designed project. It's not your typical house with 4 walls and like a basic rectangle with boxes. It's completely, the levels are different, the heights are different, the spans are different. So it requires a lot of attention to detail to understand the drawings and get it executed on site.
I'll definitely visit you on your work day one day.
I would love for you to come, and that would be wonderful. This is a very, very prestigious project that we're taking it on a complete turnkey basis. So right now we're doing the civil structure as we speak. That should be done in about 2 months. And moving forward, we'll be starting with the interiors. That itself, it's a 12,000 square feet house on a 1,000 square yards plot. So it's a huge project. It's gonna take about another, I would say, at least 2 good years to hand over the project, because the interiors actually take a lot more time than construction. With the kind of space we are playing with in this project, we're gonna have a fantastic outcome for this project, and it's going to be a landmark project for us to deliver. And we're very proud for the architects and the clients to trust us to give us the chance to deliver this project, really.
Right. No, all the best for that, I'm sure, and I'd definitely visit if I'm allowed to, because I think prestigious projects like this, it's always hidden, and you're not yet to see everything before. But I definitely come and visit once. I think it would be great. So having said that, I want to understand. So let's say there's this client. So let's say I'm your client, and I would want you to help me out with certain things. How can I approach you? And once I do, what would be the process afterwards? So how exactly, let's say there's this open plot and I would want you to design a house for me, and right from designing to getting into all the civil works and completely done the turnkey that you mentioned. So how can that happen? What's the whole process for that?
See, I would say when you are looking to construct your own house, first focus on step by step, which is to get all your permissions, get your loan sanctioned, and essentially focus on the design of the house. Now there are amazing architects out there. There are great architects out there, and you have to pick an architect that is suitable to you, what your vision is to the house, what your goals are to having your house. So you need to choose that architect, I believe, and get completely familiar with the designs, freeze the designs, and have a clear scope of work ready for the contractor. You know, when you have these things done, the basic initial steps done, it's going to be a very easy process for someone like us to come in, execute, and get out. Right? So yeah, so I would say have your permissions ready, have your funding ready, and get your designs ready, and that's where we come into the picture after this, where you can reach out to us and you lay out a clear scope of work, what needs to be done. And we always give a very detailed proposal. We usually work on a BOQ model, which is a bill of quantities model that tells you exactly the quantities, tells you the specifications, tells you the brands that we need to work with.
Okay.
So that allows the project to go according to what the funding of the what the funding was allocated to. So it doesn't usually overshoot the budget of the project by too much, which is normally the norm in this sector, I would say.
So let's say tomorrow I have my permissions and I want you to come in, would you give me a discount? This is on the show, so yeah, I'm just taking the leverage.
Well, what I will give you is a fantastic service on site, and maybe throw in some furniture around, or
Wonderful.
Get something more done, because I don't really believe in the whole concept of compromising on a house, really.
Right,
I'll tell you that, because we think of it as something like a car or a fridge, where we maybe we can go for a better brand. The life cycle of that itself is about 10-15 years.
Right.
What about your house? That goes on for generations. Your kids are going to be living there, possibly your grandkids are going to be living there. You need to make sure that you're not going to compromise even 1% on that house. When it comes to the quality, when it comes to the designs of it, you're going to be all in, because this is a house for generations to come. And you don't want to be having leakage issues 5 years down the line, structural issues 10 years down the line. Because there's no going back. Once you're there, it's hard to come back.
The repair work looks horrible.
It's very, very bad to get it back to the original state. So I would say that don't think of it as a price-based goal for you, rather than it has to be an emotional decision. It has to be where you want to spend the rest of your lives with your family. And so as a kid, I was always interested in being an astronaut.
Is it because of Buzz Lightyear?
Sorry?
Buzz Lightyear. Okay. Do you remember Buzz Lightyear? Okay.
Yeah. No, I know.
Is it because of him?
No. I was actually more intrigued by the fact that I was seeing the people in their space suits with their huge circular glass sort of helmets and wobbling around in the space shuttle. That sort of intrigued me, and the whole idea of stars and the planets, the system, how it goes around the sun. The little that I knew at the time was always very interesting to me, and it was either that, or I was always interested in business, the whole idea of business actually. Little did I know what business is later down the line, but from seeing what my dad did, it was something that I was actually interested in, by that your own actions have a increase or a decrease effect in your income, so that sort of interested me. And as I grew up, I knew that being an astronaut was not for me, because I was really bad at studies, especially science and math.
Okay.
I was a horrible student. I was probably the one of those last benchers in class who used to do all kinds of mischievous stuff, who would never study, who would always be on the field playing basketball. I just spent a lot of time playing, very little time studying, and I knew that it wasn't really for me. But what I was interested in, like I said, was the business aspect of it. And I knew for sure that after my 10th, I needed to, I chose commerce as my subjects.
Oh,
And
that makes two of us.
great, wonderful.
Yeah.
And I knew it was the right fit for me because of the complete turnaround in my grades, I would say, because I was actually interested in what I was learning, and I could actually factually see that being applied to the real world. And business studies, accounting, HR, right? So these kind of subjects were really, they were real, and I was able to relate to it, and it grew my interest even more, that it made my decision even firm to become an entrepreneur in the future. I knew that I wanted to become an entrepreneur in the future, but I didn't know into what at the time, but I knew that this was the field for me, and I just continued studying, and I've done my BBA at Amity in Hyderabad, and it was a great experience, those 3 years, after which I worked in Uber for about a year. I was one of the founding teams that helped launch Uber Eats in Hyderabad.
Okay.
So it was a great exposure for me, and it gave me a lot of corporate exposure of how there are companies within companies called as teams now, and how they function, and to be able to provide a holistic experience as the company, right? So that gave me a good exposure in my work line, after which I decided to go for my master's. I got admitted at the University of Exeter in the UK, and it was one of the top 10 business schools in the UK. It was a great college, really, and at my time there was absolutely fantastic. Like, I got to learn real life scenarios. What they teach you there, it was very, the subjects might be quite similar, but then the way that they teach you is so much more
They make a
practical.
difference. Right.
Right? Everything is assignment oriented. Everything is based on real life examples, real case studies they used to give you, and used to that helps you really take that book theoretical knowledge and try to apply it in these scenarios. Right? It bridges the gap there, and that was wonderful. I worked there for about a year, and like I said, that's when COVID hit, and because of that, I was sort of stuck there. I didn't want not to do anything, so I was working on my personal life in terms of I was quite fit at the time, because I used to work out at parks just with the resistance band. I used to work out for about an hour or two every day, and I used to enjoy cooking, and that was a great hobby for me. Before going to the UK, I didn't even know how to break an egg properly, or to make Maggie. But after going there during lockdown, I picked up this hobby, and I enjoyed cooking. I think I've reached my peak where I made butter chicken, and I think I was like, yeah, that's amazing now. Let's go back home. Before even coming back to India, I was working at odd jobs, just working at during the season, like the Christmas. I was helping at warehouses, helping package gifts and boxes. These are very small jobs, but it still was something that taught you something or the other. Everything teaches you something. I believe that every experience teaches you something, negative or positive. And I even worked at construction sites because I knew that my dad was a contractor himself. So I knew that eventually, maybe something down the line, I would have to do something on the similar sorts. That's an option that I always had. So I worked on construction sites. I didn't have a license to work as a driver or a technical foreman for, say, carpentry or any sort of technical related works. So I had to actually get my license. I had to prepare for a test to get this license as a construction foreman. What you can call it as actual labor today. So I actually worked as a construction labor on site, picking things up, moving things.
It happens like that.
Yeah, you get that's a very basic level license that you need to get, that doesn't require too much time to study and get these licenses, right? So I didn't have much time, so I did this course, I got my license, I cleared the test, I went on to construction sites. I worked as a foreman, I worked even as a cleaner on sites, but my idea was, it was not about doing those things. My idea was, while you're doing that, learn as much as you can about what's going around.
Right.
What's happening at the sites? How are things done? Observe each and every small thing that's going on. Why is that
being executed and all of that?
Yeah, why is that being executed? How is that being executed?
Right.
What are the instructions that they're following? What are the safety measures that are being taken on site? I used to like mop floors and see the blueprints on tables and try to make anything out of it, because although I didn't understand anything, because I'm not a civil engineer, but I used to learn like that. I used to listen, I used to eavesdrop people talk, engineers, project managers talk, and I think I learned quite a bit in what I had gained during that time, and that allowed me to actually, when I came back, like I said, I was in the real estate sector, which is quite interdependent with construction, and that gave me confidence into moving my line of work and starting something in regards to what my family was doing, and that experience in UK also helped in starting Builtiful today, I would say.
We were talking about the license that you will have to apply, and in India there's nothing such like that, right? So I want to understand, how can we organize this market, real estate, construction, the labor that's unorganized completely. So how do you think we can bridge the gap? I'm sure, because when you were working and you knew that there's a license for the entry-level job for itself, right, who we call laborers here. So how do you think, and I'm sure you would have your own ideas, how do you think we can actually bring this organized?
So the thing with India is that these trades, like your carpenters, your fall ceiling person, your flooring persons, these are actually family trades. They come down as a generational sort of occupation, and with this, what happens is you learn the craft very well. You can't build, you can't bring this into a person whose family was not into this, mostly right now. So while there is a lot of skill that is being passed down, what needs to be done is to have safety measures, construction checklists that to ensure quality adherence, and these kind of things need to be taught to these traders. And I think that's what mainly, even the courses that I had to learn in order to get my license was more about safety concerns and things protocols you need to follow on site. Your basic stuff, even from wearing a construction helmet to a vest, to having gloves if you're doing anything that uses a grinder or a breaker, these kind of things are not really there today, even today in the market. And we try to make sure that our construction team at site they're following these protocols, they're following these procedures. Our engineers are making sure of it. So that's why we invest a lot into our R&D. We invest into our engineers. We try to hire quite experienced traders who we bring on to the site, and we use our checklists and our safety measure training classes. And when you inculcate these two, you get the right output at site.
Right. Do you think India can be there at par with
Definitely. See, I think more than anything, it's just a very unorganized sector, I would say. But as any industry is growing with the help of tech and AI, IoT, I think construction sector is just a tad bit behind with all this. And I think it's changing now. It's changing with your, like whatever I said, and with BIM coming in, building information management systems. So with this,
What is it?
BIM is nothing but the entire project before it's even built. In the design phase itself, you can accurately visualize the project coming on site, and it's so in detail that it helps you prepare for all the contingencies, the risks that might come later down the line. It prepares you for it. So this kind of things are growing, and again, sustainability is another aspect that you know, people are more and more aware of. Builders today are more aware of it. I think it's changing. I think it just needs to be growing at a faster rate. But I think with young entrepreneurs, with people who are in the Gen Z and you know, my age people are more aware of these things and are more interested to bring these practices into their business.
Right. But yes, you know, I also have seen, you know, since I've mentioned my father is also himself a civil engineer, and you know, I've seen him working, and you know, there's many problems that goes on. You know, some mishappenings also might happen sometimes, you know, because of the lack of safety measures as well. So I understand where we are coming from, but I also hope that India gets there one day, and probably I think this is one of the biggest market that we're talking about, right, in India, and it's still unorganized, and I'm sure that one day someone will capitalize on this, and yeah, I think this is the right time for anyone to, you know, to come up with new ideas and take venture into it. But then yes, of course, you know, we were talking about your personal life, but then we got deviated. Now, since you have spoken about all of this, there's this one important question that I always ask about to my guests. Basically, it's what do they think what life is all about? So since we have spoken and since I've got to know you a bit, I want to understand, what do you think life is all about?
I think, very simply put, life is what you make of it. Right? We can always think the grass is always greener on the side. We can think to ourselves that you can look at any one thing and you can think about it positively, you can think about it negatively. I think that's what I mean by when I say life is what you make of it, because you're just lucky to be alive. Trust me. The odds of there's actually something that I read that the chances of you being alive today is minuscule, like 0.000 something percent. That the fact that you're actually out here talking to me is a very rare thing.
It's a very big, zeros.
Yeah. So the fact that's happening is, I take that as something that I don't take that for granted. I think I'm very lucky to be alive. Wow. And I think I need to make the most of what God has given me. And I personally, as a person, am very much connected to nature, I would say. I don't know how, but I just love just on a random day a cold breeze hitting you. People would not really notice that kind of thing, but I really connect to these kind of things. And when you are so connected to nature, I think you're really grounded as a person. You're very humble. You start taking meanings out of everything, and when you try to understand, when you try to associate your life not separately from nature and as part of it, you're one thing. Your entire everything around you comes from one thing, right? These are atoms, right? So you're all made from the same stuff,
right?
The stuff of stars, they say. When you are so deeply connected to these kind of things, I think you have a greater perspective towards life. I think you start appreciating everything that's around you. You start being grateful to everything and everyone around you. And I think I'm very lucky because I have this mindset towards life. And I think that's why I believe that I'm very lucky to be alive. I'm very grateful for whatever I have. I can always be cribbing that, that guy is fucking having a private jet and I'm still here, but there's always someone who's thinking that, who's dying to be on a podcast with you right now, right? So be grateful for what you have, be proud of how far you come, just be there to provide value in the society. Do something, like it doesn't have to be monetary. Make people around you happy. I would say that, I think the greatest aspect of life is to be happy and make people around you happy. I always live by it, and I think I'm quite funny as a person, like how I mess with my friends a lot, just joke around a lot. It's always to make sure like they're just laughing, and that makes me happy as a person. And you spread that happiness, and I think that's what life is for me.
That's really a wonderful answer. But then that leads to the next one, which is love. Life and love. That's very. So I want to understand. You're 28 and you're unmarried, right? Mm-hmm. Most of the viewers didn't know, but yes, he's unmarried. So if you have dips, please, you can. So I want to understand, and also he's very good looking also, since he has mentioned more than twice in the podcast.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you did. Okay. You did. I was counting, and when is the third one coming? All right. So since all of that has happened, I'm sure you must have had a very good experience with love as well. I'm assuming, but then I want to understand, how's love been to you? How's everything with love has been to you ever?
So I think love really doesn't have anything to do with age. Mm-hmm. I think you find it when you find it. It can be when you're 40s, in your 50s. It can happen in your 20s also. So I think I haven't found it yet. Mm-hmm. I'm 28 years old, and
did you see these memes where this people, they just introduce themselves and they say, I want a 24-year-old girl? Did you?
I did come across. Yeah.
He should be like this. He should be like. Oh my God, that's crazy.
No. So So I don't think it. You can find love in that way, right?
Right. Of course.
It's such an organic thing that that happens on its own. That's not something you really seek out for. I've been in many relationships before, but I can't say I've found the one that I want to spend the rest of my life with. Mm-hmm. But if it happens, it happens.
Right.
If not, luckily,
am I being invited to your wedding?
Of course you are. I mean, I think we're going to do a pre-wedding podcast.
Yeah, sure. Oh, with a couple. Okay.
With the couple.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right. Couple podcast.
Please don't call me if you divorce later. I'm really sorry, but having said that, I'm you are such a really amazing person, and it's very rare to find people with your perspective. I'll be very honest. I'm not even kidding, just because you're on my podcast. I find people who are confused, no matter the age, right? They are always trying to find meaning, they're always trying to do something out of it, and it's a good thing. But the downside of it comes with time, because you're also wasting your precious time not understanding the importance of life itself, right? And someone like you who knows the importance of life, who makes sure that even though sometimes you might sound dumb, but you're still making sure that your people around you are happy, and a lot of things that you're doing by yourself. So I'm sure you might not have gotten the one because you're mentioning it. I don't know your personal life, but then still, I'm sure you would have that wonderful person for yourself. And I know I'm not a relationship counselor as such, but then yes, all the best for that. But then, do you have a list?
For the kind of person?
Yeah, did you ever have a list of qualities that you'd ever want from someone?
Honestly, I don't think. See, I think everyone's list in terms of the prerequisites are quite the same. Mm-hmm. In terms of the basic cliche things.
The foundation.
Right.
Right.
But things, I don't think lists really work. They go out for a toss later. Once you find that person, I think it's really about the kind of connection that you have with that person makes all the difference. Right. And the stronger the connection, the more I wouldn't say compromise, but you're more willing to let go of the little things for the bigger picture to stay together. I think that only happens organically when you really get into that get into the person with that person.
Understood. So you must have been, did you break hearts or were you heartbroken? Like, what did it happen both ways?
I don't think I broke anything or I was heartbroken. I think being heartbroken and all of that is just a little heavy to say, if anything. I think you have experiences in life, all kinds of experience, and love is one of them, and things work out, things don't work out, you bounce back. That's just how you're built as a person. Time heals everything. So you should always just hang in there, be strong, and you're able to find someone else in the life, in your life, and there's no other option, right? There is no alternative. Right? So you might think that you're going through something like the whole world's weight is on you and like everything is against you. You'll get out of it, right? So humans change the perspective with time, no matter what. It'll get better. Just be positive about it.
Right. Perfect. So this is the last question of our podcast. So what is it for you after now? So after the podcast and after this day, what from here? What do you think future must hold for you from here on?
So like I said, I think two main things in personal life and in professional life, I would say, is to make a difference. To make a difference means different in a professional life. It means different in my personal life as well. And for me, in personal life is really being able to find happiness and to be able to spread that happiness around me with the people I am. And don't hurt people, don't say mean things that when you're angry. And I would say just stand by your friends, stand by your family, and I would say continue doing that in your life, and you're going to leave an impact, you're going to leave a footprint in people's lives when you're not here anymore. Life is too short, right? So without you knowing, time just passes, and that goes with my professional life. It feels like just 1 year ago that I started my company. It's been 4 years, 4 wonderful years, and I can't wait to see how far this company goes. It's almost as if we know that what this company is capable of, where it's going to be. It's only about the time it takes for us to make sure it goes there. So that's what I think I have my goals for my personal and professional life.
Right. Well, that's it. All the best for all of it.
Thank you.
I'm really glad, and you mentioned about being grateful, and I'm really grateful for you to also come. And we had to postpone this, I think, for 1 month. I think we have been
unfortunately
the podcast. Yes, but then I'm thankful that you have been always kind to us. Understood our problems. Since we're growing, we definitely have our own problems.
Of course.
But thanks a lot. Thanks for joining me, and it was great talking to you. And I think this is by far the most positive podcast that I've ever been to and spoken to. Everyone were also, but then I think this was the level just got increased. And I'm going to call my friend now, my best friend. I'm going to talk to them about. So what I do is basically whenever I complete a conversation, I call my best friend and I talk to them about the podcast, what conversations we had. I took 2 to 3 things that I've learned from you today. I'm not even kidding. There are 2 to 3 things, and I'm going to call her. Oh, did I just say her? Yeah. So I'll just go call her.
It's a friend?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, yeah. Friend.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just call her now, and I'll tell these things. I really share all of it with her. So I call her, I tell her, this is what happened, and this is the main things, and just how you mentioned about the atoms, I'm going to tell that to her now. So I'll just tell, and it's wonderful actually, because I'm growing, with you. I've grown through you, with you, and I'm growing with other guests as well. Every time there's this guest and they say something amazing about their life, the way they, view life as, I think it just makes me a better person. And I think I'm most humble person in this entire world as of now, because I know the things that I have to be I have to be, really thankful to. I am. And the other things, like people like you, also make me humble, because it's just amazing to know people, to be honest. And I know I can just go on saying all of this, but I really learned a lot, and I'm going to call her. I'm going to tell all the things that I've learned from you. It was wonderful talking to you. Right?
Lovely. It was really nice to talk to you as well, Dev. I mean, I'm thankful to be on this podcast with you, and really wish you the very best in your future podcasts as well.
Right. And yes, that said, as I mentioned, before we wrap up the podcast, we'll play a small game, right?
Okay.
It would be a philanthropic game, right? So what we do here is we play a small dare, right? And whoever loses the dare, they have to perform a philanthropic dare kind of a thing, right? So it's a small game we'll play, and whoever loses, they'll do a philanthropic dare. It can be feeding kids, underprivileged children or underprivileged adults, all of that, or maybe, feed stray dogs, any of it, right?
Lovely.
So we'll play the game. The game is simple. It's just a staring game. Everyone knows, the guest knows. So we'll stare into each other eyes, right? Yeah, and whoever loses, they'll have to. Don't tell me I'm going to lose. I've never lost this game, by the way.
So I'm not allowed to blink, or
you're not allowed to blink.
Okay, I can make faces.
Yeah. Are you really not going to blink?
No, I'm good at giving death stares.
Okay. Really not? Okay, I think, did I blink?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay.
I'm going to give you another chance.
No, I think my eyes are watering.
Yeah, don't cry, it's fine.
I know, right?
It's alright, don't cry.
I know, right? Are you going to have this like forever? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Nice that we are performing philanthropic dare. If it was any other kind of game, then I think I would have scrolled. If not, yeah, okay. This is the longest ever. Ask Anna. This is like the longest. Oh my god, I have got a competition. I've never lost this game, by the way.
Really? No wonder you chose this game.
No. It's not like that actually. It's just, beautiful women always, right? So it's
right.
Yeah. I have to also have for my, you blinked.
I blinked. I'm glad I lost because.
Yeah, of course.
For the good cause.
Yeah, of course. For the good. He wantedly lost the game, guys. If not, he could have, had lots of me blinking. But thank you again. It was great.
Lovely.
Now what we'll do is we have 4 numbers written, random numbers, and accordingly we have a dare.
Okay.
So whichever number you pick, you'll have to perform the dare. So
Alright.
It's from 1 to 4, so any number.
Okay. I'll pick 3.
3. Okay, good one. It says donate food to underprivileged children or adults.
I'm so glad I picked that.
Right?
Because I would have picked that. If I had the choice, I would have picked that.
Alright. Do you want to listen to all the other options again?
It's fine. I think. I'm
just telling you, like, would you want to? I mean, this is fixed. Now, this is the dare.
Yeah, please do tell me.
Yeah, so we would be, sitting together, and we'll chat on how exactly we can do this. And whenever you're free, I'm free. We'll do this dare. And I'll personally sit and see whether you're doing it or not.
Yeah,
right?
please.
Right?
Please.
So I just read out the other things so that, you'd know. So the first one was volunteering your time in a government school.
Okay.
Second is feeding stray dogs. 3 was donating food to underprivileged children. That was what you got. And 4th is distributing blankets.
Wow, I think all 4 are amazing. I would have been happy to pick either any of them.
I know, right? We are actually doing this for the philanthropic sake.
Really
we are making sure that.
I'm glad I lost.
Yeah. No, don't be glad, please. It was a very tough game. See, it was really a tough game, and I really want to take the credit. But then thank you again, Vishal. It was great talking to you.
Lovely.
And we'll figure out this, and hopefully we'll do it soon. All right.
Lovely.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Perform the
Okay.
All right. Are you in?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Shall we start?
I'm going to stare at your soul.
Yeah. Stare at my soul. I'll stare at your soul.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.